Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This your boy Carcino here, and let's talk about it. The Last Dance, episodes 7 and 8. This is the live breakdown. Let's get into it. Now, when people think about The Last Dance and how it went down, how it played out, a lot of people were amazed and shocked to see Michael Jordan show so much, humility and vulnerability, because this is what we've been waiting for. Well, I've already told you the real story about James Jordan. That video is already on the Carcino for Life page. They kind of sugarcoated it on this one, but if you want to know the truth, that video is on my timeline. It's not hard to find. Now, breaking down this saga in this episode, which was very powerful, I thought this was finally we've got to some real grit, something we thought we were going to get in the series. And what I mean by grit is, you got to get to the teeth of things. Like, where things are not always what they seem. They hinted around to it and they kind of drug us along on this long road where things were drug out and it wasn't really necessary. So now we're like, okay, when are we going to see the real? When are we going to see this? They kind of been like slow playing us. And it's like, we get it. You guys want to make a long series out of this. 10 episodes was too damn long. But they did a great job with this episode. This was the best episode so far that they've had, was episode 7. Where it went into the psyche of Michael Jordan. You got to see a little bit why he was who he was and the things that he did. Definitely hit the like button for those who just got here. And you start to see what made him what he was, and all of the things that happened in baseball and why he left the game. And I tried to tell you Michael was going to retire back in 91. He was ready to leave, take a break. It was mentally draining every year to keep going up there and losing to the Detroit Pistons. It was mentally draining every year, not being able to have the control, knowing that you're the star of the entire league and you can't get one player on your team that you want. It's like, this is ridiculous. And Michael Jordan was getting fed up with losing. It was strenuous, it was stressful, and all this stuff Skip Bayless be talking about. Michael Jordan was a hidden suspension and he believed that. This just goes to show you that it was nonsense, because it was complete nonsense from the first moment I heard it. There's no way Michael Jordan would be suspended for gambling for 18 months. It was a secret suspension. That's the dumbest thing anybody could ever say to another human being. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So I'm glad they put that to rest and to bed, because it's really stupid. Michael Jordan would be suspended. You're going to take your best player who earns the most money for your league, put you in a decline for 18 months. The NBA is going to do that over some gambling rules. Do you not know what the NBA is based off of? That was lunacy. So to hear that, you're like, wow, this is really, I did explain why all of that happened. I told the exact same thing. If you're talking about my video about the whole his thing with his dad and all of that, I explained it all in detail, full. So there was no need for me to rehash that. But I'm glad they went through, like the psyche and everything else, and it was just compiled with the fact that he was ready to leave. Yeah, I know. Everything I told you guys, it happened after the fact with Michael. And you finally got to see your hero, Scotty, and how Scotty quit on the team after Mike left. The team was doing great. And then in the playoffs, in front of the entire world, Scottie Pippen decides he's not going back in the game because he wanted to shoot the last shot. And Tony Kukoc was hitting all those game winners. I've been telling y'all that for a whole year and a half. And now they put it all on this film so you could see everything that I've told you played out just that way. He was jealous of the fact that he told Phil, you would have never told Michael that. And you told Michael he had to inbound the ball. Michael would have told you to go to hell. That's what he told to Phil Jackson. But you also got to see the other side of Michael Jordan's personality. The side that everybody has conflict with. The drive and will to win. How determined Mike is to win. Now, the same things he mad at Isaiah about. He's crying because he knows. He's thinking back on how he was and what he did to people. And when you get older, you reflect. The job is done. The mission is done. So now he's an old man looking back on all the things he did. He's not proud of all the things that he done to get to where he had to go. And that's why he said at the very end, like, if you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. He feel bad probably about Dennis Hopson, how he ran him out of town. Scott, he never could crack. He cracked Dennis Hopson. Dennis Hopson just was ready to leave. After the first championship, Dennis Hopson was like, I don't care. I got to get away from this guy. He wanted away from Michael Jordan. He couldn't deal with it. They never really went into that. But you got to see his personality. And if you look at it, how is he any different from Isaiah Thomas? Isaiah Thomas was just the same way. Villainous. Hard on the team. Pushing them. Wanting to win. He hated Isaiah because he envied the fact that Isaiah had what he didn't have. This is why I tried to tell you. This is why he holds a grudge. He's holding a grudge against Charles Barkley. Because this is the way he competes. He's always got to compete in this way. He's holding a grudge with Sports Illustrated. Those reporters probably don't even work there anymore. He's still holding a grudge. I won't do an interview. They wrote this thing about me 20 years ago. It was unfair. Life ain't fair. But he been pampered so much, he's used to everybody bending to his will. No, he's just a player. And that's all he was. And people have to understand that. Michael Jordan was a basketball player who transcended the sport. I heard the dumbest thing ever come out of a person's mouth was Shannon Sharpe said, Michael Jordan, he might have won War 23, but LeBron made it famous. Is he out of his mind? Michael Jordan made 23 iconic that other teams that he never even played for is retiring his number. That's what he's done for the league. LeBron is reaping the benefits of what other people have done for the league. He's just reaping the benefits. He's raking in all the dollars off what Kobe and Michael have built up. That's all. He didn't build anything into anything. He's just reaping the benefits. I think he's been sipping a little of that yak himself, Shannon Sharpe. He done took up a drinking habit. He knows Michael Jordan is better than LeBron. I mean, you gotta be a fool to not know Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. But if you look at the essence, if Michael didn't push all of those players, they wouldn't have won. Now, BJ Armstrong was mad because he got traded. After the 1995 season, BJ Armstrong got traded, and he was not happy about that at all. When Michael Jordan came back, he wanted one request. BJ and Scottie had to stay. Then after that, BJ was gone, and they kept Steve Kerr. And BJ was livid. He was never happy about that, and he blamed Phil Jackson for that move. He never was happy with what happened with that. So BJ was very upset. So when they played that game in Charlotte, it was more about him being mad at Phil Jackson more than anything, because he felt Phil is the one that took that away from him. Look at Mike Yak glass, boy. He keep that glass right there. That's a $200 glass of yak. Oh, that without a doubt, 7 and 8 were the best episodes they've done. And Michael is so competitive that you're either going to get him to explode or Exactly. Michael Jordan had how many opportunities to push them? No, he needed that motivation. As I always told you, they just gave you a visual aid to all the things that I've always told you. Now the younger generation get to see all of the things I was talking about in the video. Horace Grant throwing his fists in the air. The reason why Scottie Pippen and all the Bulls fans, I want y'all to see this, because y'all keep loving to talk about Scottie. How Scottie, man, when the Bulls left, when Mike left, Scottie was the man. Scottie, Scottie, Scottie. You took credit away from Horace Grant. You took credit away from Tony Kukoc coming over there winning all those games, hitting them shots at the buzzer. You took credit away from B.J. Armstrong, who had a great first half. And then when it came down to it, when it was hot, Scottie quit. He crumbles. And he never gonna live it down. Joe Dumars, of course. Now, here are some other truths that you didn't see or wasn't revealed to you at the time. A lot of different things in this video that they broke through, they kind of like danced around. During that run, Michael Jordan was going through a lot of things um, that was like really hindering him when they were kind of showing the 98 season. He was burnt out. He was going through a lot of things. All his extracurricular activities were starting to affect his home life with his wife and his kids. So that whole year in 98 was dismal because his wife Juanita had put him out. They had separated during that time. So during Mike's last years with the Bulls, he wasn't even really living in the house. He came home on Mother's Day. That's when she allowed him to come back to the house. He used his mom to get him back in the house. Michael Jordan was thrown out his own house. Y'all don't even know that. I'm quite sure they're not going to go down this road on this show. But Juanita had threw Michael out. If you're here in Chicago, you knew. Michael Jordan lives 15 minutes from my house. The car dealership, which is the exchange, it's also used as a courier service for some of the players, including Michael Jordan, to go pick up celebrities when they come over to his home or come over to visit. Now, Layla Ali came out and was picked up and taken to Michael Jordan. Now, why was he meeting Layla Ali? I don't know. Hey, that's all I can tell you. We all knew she was picked up to go for Michael Jordan, but we don't know what and what they were doing. So, I don't know. That's all I can tell you. But Michael Jordan was thrown out of his house. He had to move out. And a lot of the players, the football players that lived down, that Mike used to hang with, had moved away. Like Richard Dent, he wasn't hanging out with Dent no more. They were living more of a modest life and couldn't keep up with the Jordan lifestyle. Walter Payton and all those guys that he used to hang with in the 80s, that kind of faded now that he's married. Now he's got new buddies that he go running and hanging around with. And Ahmad Rashad is one of his buddies. And Juanita kind of didn't like Ahmad Rashad because Ahmad was, a bad influence pretty much on him. Oh, Supernatural, breaking down things Michael Jordan didn't give you. See, what they didn't tell you in this series yet is Dennis Rodman went to the house. Don't forget to hit the like button, people. You guys just got here. You guys who want to support the page and hit the Cash App up, I appreciate it. Carceno's the name. Karceno. Dennis Rodman came to Michael Jordan's house one time. Nobody really knows this except for the people who were there. He came there for Marcus's birthday party. Michael Jordan's son, Marcus, loved Dennis Rodman. So, yes, I already spoke about what happened to his pops. The video is on the timeline. So, Marcus having a birthday party at the house, and he wanted Dennis Rodman there. So he said, Dad, I want Dennis, to come over to the house. Mike was like, I don't know. Dennis might have, getting Dennis to come up. This is Michael Jordan telling his son he don't think he can get Dennis Rodman to come to the house. He's Michael Jordan. He's like, I'll ask him, but I wouldn't hold on that Dennis might have some things going on that, on that day. So he might not want to come to a kid birthday party. Soon as he tells Dennis Rodman, he's like, if you could just swing by for 5-10 minutes. Dennis was like, oh, yeah, I'll be there for the little man. What time? Dennis was there on time. Nobody had to go get Dennis, pull him up, nothing. He was like, Marcus loves you, man. So everybody's giving Marcus gifts, all for his birthday and all this stuff. Dennis Rodman is there. He's playing. All the kids just love Dennis because Dennis is a big kid. So Dennis got a gift for him. He was like, man, what do you got? So Dennis give him a gift. Dennis give him hair dye. He gives Marcus hair dye. So Marcus can dye his hair. Marcus was so happy. He jumped up and down. Oh my God! He was so happy. Mom, Dad, look what I got. He's so happy that he get to dye his hair. Juanita, she freaked out. She was like, oh, okay, let me hold that. I'm going to hold that. Michael was, man, no, you just didn't give my kid hair dye. We know about it because, like I told you, Michael Jordan lives 15 minutes from here. Michael Jordan's daughter was in the classroom with my ex-girlfriend's sister. Okay? They were best friends in school. They were classmates. So when she had a birthday party, guess who got to bring her over there? So I've been past the gates. Yes, Dennis Rodman gave Marcus hair dye. Not too many people know that story. Like I said, only the people that was there know that happened. See, this is what, so the guy's like, so what are you doing? Breaking down everything Michael Jordan just broke down? No, we break down things that were not in this story that were told that should have been. That's what you get when you watch this. We know. We know everything that was there. Michael Jordan was having an affair with a Cook County sheriff. Some white lady, she was a Cook County sheriff. And she used to escort him back and forth on the road on the games. When he drives, she would take her car and escort Michael back and forth. Well, Michael Jordan used to go to this place called the Full Moon Restaurant on 41. That's a little bit past his house. So Mike wouldn't go all the way home. Mike would drive. Mike would drive all the way to the Full Moon Restaurant. They would make a reservation for Mike, and it's a 24-hour like restaurant. But at certain times, there's like nobody there. So Mike would be like in a corner of the restaurant, and the Cook County Sheriff would be there. So if you see Michael Jordan with a Cook County Sheriff in a sheriff's uniform, you're not going to think anything about it. Because it's Michael Jordan and a Cook County Sheriff. He's like, okay, well, she's security for Michael Jordan. But who's she going to stop? But she has a gun. So anyway. Oh, no, he didn't smash her in the restaurant. They got a Residence Inn hotel that's in Deerfield that he used to go there and wouldn't come straight home after games. So that became his regular routine. So Juanita somehow found out, because we're going to go into all of this later on the Patreon, because this thing gets even bigger than what you can even imagine. This is how she got the $170-something million that she got out of Michael Jordan. You guys don't even know the half. There's so much more to this story that you don't know. That's why Mike paid the money. And this is what's going to happen to LeBron. If he ain't careful. Because if you're on the Patreon, you already seen what happened with LeBron and how stupid and reckless he's been. Mr. Squeaky Clean. I'm like, he's squeaky clean because he's controlling the media, and all this social media stuff. That wasn't a desire of Mike to just go out. He'll talk to some of the journalists there, but his thing of trying to really have guys, his own team, run out and sit on top of stories and all this, that wasn't his main concern. Mike's main concern was on the basketball court. Like he said, on this court, when he told Tim Grover, said, look, if you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours out of your day to watch me, I owe it to you to give you my absolute best. My absolute best. Can we get that, LeBron James, for one game? Can we get your absolute best for one game? Just one. Mike did it every game. 82. Okay? There's no comparison. When he came back in his 30s, LeBron, he played 82 games, including preseasons, all the games. Never sat out a game. Played 82. He had 2 league MVPs, 3 final MVPs, 3 NBA championships. Scoring titles, everything you want to have, he had. Can you do that, LeBron? Don't throw a party because you played 82 games for one season. What's that to celebrate? Mike did that every year. He didn't cheat the fans. He was going to make sure I didn't like this guy at all. And you see why I didn't like him. He holds unnecessary grudges, and he was a prima donna at times. He was an a-hole. And you guys, everybody around me was caught into this be like Mike crap. But I saw what he truly was. He was a scumbag. But that scumbag was a true adversary. He was somebody that you were going to have to focus on, and he was a problem. And you was going to have to beat him, and you're going to have to be your absolute best to beat him. LeBron, compared to him, oh, man. It's embarrassing that somebody would even mention LeBron James and Michael Jordan as even being in the same sport. It's embarrassing. If I'm LeBron, I'm embarrassed to even say I'm the king. It sounds stupid. It's like, you really sound stupid now. Space Jam 2. You really sound stupid right now. You have no impact. Your impact is like this. Okay, you got a bunch of social media attention, dog. You the 6'9" of the NBA. That's exactly who you are. LeBron James, that's exactly who you are. You're the 6'9" of the NBA. That is exactly who you are. That is the perfect breakdown of LeBron James. He is 6'9". Look how many followers I got. Look at my fans. Look at my watch. It's $1 million watch. But your kids need diapers. That's a mama problem. I got $1 million watch. I'm like, you got $1 million watch, but everybody else is in poverty. That's just so successful. Well, you don't have to wear your championship rings. Once you win more than one, they know. Do Mike need to wear his ring so you to know he won 6 championships? Nope. So as they move through, you start to see what motivated Mike. Like one of my favorite parts is when he was swinging that baseball bat at BJ. When they talking about BJ, like BJ should know better than that. He know this is only if we were asleep, that's only gonna wake me up. Michael Jordan and BJ were like the closest people alive at one point. So him pumping his fist in the air like that was only gonna piss MJ off. You knew that. You've embarrassed him. Now he's gonna have to come back and respond. He knows how to play you, BJ. The thing with BJ Armstrong is you don't let him get going. You could take BJ Armstrong out the game real quick. He can't cross you and go to the basket. BJ's a pull-up jump shooter. So if you stay up on BJ Armstrong, he's not going to get around you. Now, if somebody comes set a pick to get somebody off of him, then yeah, but BJ's not going to shoot the ball if he don't have space. That game when he was hitting all those shots, he was wide open. So now Michael got all up on him. Like, I got BJ. I'm finna show BJ what time it is. BJ will pick up his dribble and fold. Isaiah Thomas used to do it to him all the time. Isaiah is his idol. So to see that happen to him, Michael already knew what was going to happen. BJ should have known. Mike don't care about him being 6'1". Isaiah 6'1". He can't. You think Michael Jordan could get up on Isaiah like that and shut him down? No, because Isaiah would cross Mike and go all the way to the basket. He knows Isaiah has that ability. He can't be that concerned. Somebody's got to have the back because Isaiah is going to cross him. Yeah, that was who BJ Armstrong grew up idolizing, was Isaiah Thomas when he was in college, everywhere. See, a lot of these guards, you don't understand, Isaiah Thomas was their guy coming into the league. He was the man. If you were his size and you were in college, you watched Isaiah Thomas. And Magic Johnson, he had his own following. Well, the thing is, getting rid of BJ, it didn't mean nothing to Michael. I mean, Michael already knew, like, come on. What was that going to mean to him? Oh, the LaBradford Smith game. I always talk about the LaBradford Smith. LaBradford Smith, it was so funny because he always talked about his NBA career didn't turn out the way everybody thought because of that one game he had. And it basically didn't work out for him. But that one game he had against the Bulls, where Michael had a terrible night. And the next game, I knew what was in store for LaBradford Smith. I didn't even have to hear Michael Jordan say nothing. After watching this game, I already knew what was going to happen. Because you already know how Michael Jordan is. And people don't know I'm in Chicago, so I get every game. I don't miss a game. So I didn't miss any games. I got more Bulls games than I did Piston games back then. So it wasn't like, man, I gotta sit here and endure. I'm rooting for the Washington Wizards. I'm rooting for anybody against the Bulls. I never rooted for this team. Never rooted for them. You'll never find a human being that say, Sino, you was a Bulls fan. The whole city know. See this shirt? Detroit. Bad boys. You see? They're the only team in NBA history to this day that if I can show you this logo, which is not licensed by the NBA, and it represented the team. No other team had a logo, had their own merchandise that they sold, that the NBA didn't get a dime from. The NBA ain't make a quarter off that. That was the Bad Boys, the city of Detroit. They wore it. They made their own flag. I always felt that I always felt that oh yeah, Betty Wright, clean up woman. This was like one of the funniest parts. Oh, is when Mike got that bet. And he talking about BJ Armstrong. Mike looked like he want to bat BJ upside the head with that baseball bat. Now why BJ gonna go on and do that? Now why BJ gonna go on and do that? Oh man, Mike was like the monster in there. Am I mad? I ain't mad. It's just one game. How why BJ do that? He know what I'm gonna do. Mike got that baseball bat. Mike had the baseball bat and the stogie. That's why BJ going to do a thing like that. He know what's gonna happen. He know what's gonna happen to him. Oh man. Man, that's just hilarious. When he had that bat, that was the favorite part of episode 8. Mike had that bat. Like, I don't know why BJ would do that. Oh, they talked about when Mike came back. You got to see the Horace Grant situation. But a lot of people, like again, they told you a lie about Michael Jordan's comeback. Well, they didn't lie. They just gave you the Walt Disney version of Michael Jordan's comeback. When he asked BJ to come and all that, when he was in Chicago, the comeback trail didn't even start in Chicago. A lot of you don't know this. It started in the Bay, in Oakland. Michael Jordan was in Oakland. He wasn't in Chicago. After the strike ended, Mike went to Cali and he was hanging out in Oakland in the Bay with his best friend, Rod Higgins, who played for the Golden State Warriors. Now, Rod Higgins and Michael Jordan would show up. Mike would show up at the Golden State Warriors practice facility when they went to work out. They talked to George Karl to get, was it okay if Michael Jordan came by? And so they snuck Mike in because nobody was even watching. He rode with Rod Higgins. Nobody, no camera, no media, nothing. Came up in there. Michael Jordan was in there. And they doing a shoot around. Tim Hardaway starts talking crap to Jordan as they're on the sideline. And that's when it went off. And Mike didn't even have any basketball gear. Yeah, it must be getting summertime. Here comes an ant. See, this ant is like LeBron James. And see that ant? He like LeBron. This whole board is Michael Jordan. That's LeBron's worth. Michael Jordan worth is this entire wood board. LeBron's worth is that ant. That's how much worth he's brought compared to Michael Jordan. He can't get a shoe to sell. Michael Jordan's shoe sales is like 3-4 times LeBron James, and he ain't played in 15 years. That's impact. When LeBron stops playing, will any of his products sell? No. Nobody's going to give a damn about LeBron once he retires. Not one damn. Now, back to what happened when Tim Hardaway decided to antagonize Michael Jordan. Like, man, you lucky you over there. Michael Jordan pulls Chris Mullin to the side. Chris Mullin and Michael Jordan are the same shoe size, and they're about the same height. They wear the same shoe and everything. Nobody knew that. But Mike knew because they played on the Dream Team together. And they knew that they was the same shoe size, same like everything. So he said, Chris, where your training gear at? Let me get them shoes. Put on Chris Mullin's shoes, put on the training gear, the workout gear, went out there and played Tim Hardaway and the Golden State Warriors, shooting and playing and competing with the Warriors right then and there on the court. So it started in Oakland. Mullin gave Michael Jordan his training gear and his shoes. Mike went and put them shoes on, came out there and gave them the boys the business. That happened in Oakland. Before he came out to Chicago, he was hanging out with Rod Higgins in Oakland. See, now this is what you get when you tune in here. You get the truth. You get that realness. These are all stories you're probably never going to hear on The Last Dance. So when you hear this breakdown, you know it's real. Now, tomorrow, you're going to find out a lot more about the Juanita Michael Jordan thing on the Patreon, of course. That's where we get really grimy and dirty. And don't forget the LeBron James, The Last Flop, episodes 7 and 9, 7 and 8, will be appearing this week also. Yes, The Last Flop 7 and 8 will be coming this week also. Oh, yeah, he probably is. Rod is his best friend. Rod Higgins is his best friend. See, Michael Jordan, he's got this one time you cross me rule, and that's just how Mike is. Cross me one time, and He cut you off. There's like no forgiveness, no nothing. You screw up one time, you out. Like with Charles Barkley, him and Mike ain't really talked and had a conversation, even though they were really close. You screw up one time, you out. Isaiah Thomas has never been jealous of Michael Jordan. They try to paint that narrative that he is. Why would he? When you win an NBA championship, you ain't gonna be worried about no Michael Jordan. You don't care. You're winning. And he was the only guy who could say that over Mike. So Mike gonna always hate Isaiah, even though he's seen him. They act like Isaiah wasn't at the Dream Team or the All-Star game in 1992. He was. They've seen each other plenty of times, gave each other daps. Laughed with each other on the court. So to assume that Michael has this disdain for Isaiah, it's like, it's unfounded. The only person that holds it is Mike. Isaiah has been moved on. He's like, man, dude, like, why would you even harbor? Isaiah used to call the games. Isaiah coached him his last All-Star game. He the one ran the play so Mike could shoot the game-winning shot when he hit that shot over Marion. Then they called that foul when Kobe tried to go down there and win the game. But Isaiah is smarter than Michael. He's always been. That's how he used to win. He knows it burns Michael up every time he says LeBron James is better. That's all he got to say. Well, LeBron is better than Michael. I think LeBron did a lot of things to minimize. You see how Mike get now. If somebody just yell, wave their fists in the air, he need that motivation. Now, he can't compete. Now, he don't mind if ESPN say this stuff. I don't get to Mike. People he played against, especially Isaiah Thomas, is saying this. Now it's going to burn him up. Because Isaiah played against him. Now he got a problem. When Jordan was general manager for the Wizards, and he said he was doing a terrible job as general manager for the Washington Wizards. And he was like, Charles went and criticized him without even having a conversation with him. And for him to do that, he thought that was a sign of betrayal. And he don't think it was fair. When Charles is just doing his job. But we'll get into that later. I'll do that here on the page. I won't put that on the Patreon. I'll just do that here, and I'll explain it in full detail. Michael's position and Charles' position. Because other people tried to fix it. I know a lot of people feel that way, but there was a lot of things that Charles didn't do. And when you have a relationship with Michael, Michael looks like, you know me. Pick up the phone and call me, dude. What did you mean? If you ain't even do any investigation. Oh, I'll wait to the video, then you guys will see it on the video, and that way you have a clear and concise thing to go off of. But by far, these were the best 2 episodes. I ended up making this video longer than I was supposed to, but still, I enjoyed it. Y'all have a good night. Don't forget to like the video. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the page. This is the best episodes they have right now, 7 and 8. It's the best out of the entire saga so far. So hopefully they're getting ready for this climatic end next week. They already have the box set that's coming out on video this summer, where you can buy in Target, Walmart, what's that? Every store, Best Buy. It's a documentary, like collector's edition set. You can purchase it. It's getting ready to come out. They already getting that already done, so you can buy it this summer. It's not coming to Netflix. Nobody told me that. It's not coming to Netflix. So don't bank on that. They're going to have it for purchase. And if you want to watch it, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. They're going to run it to death on ESPN. Then they're going to put it on ESPN Plus if you want to go watch it again. And when they take it off and bring the season back for the NBA. Yeah, they got the Sammy Sosa 30 for 30. Lance Armstrong, I think 30 for 30 coming. Bruce Lee, 30 for 30. Or something like that coming. So get ready.